Three, you're tuned into Context Matters, and I just want to say welcome. We have a special guest today. It is the PNP candidate for rural, so South St. Andrew. Yeah, I got it right. Ms. Joan Gordon Webley. And our discussion will really be based on, the ins and outs, the pros, the cons of running in a rural constituency, and just the major difference it is from the constituencies in, you know, city life. Some of the smaller constituencies and what entails where that is concerned. So if you are just tuning in from Reggae Global Radio, or you're tuned in with the TikTok, or you're on the YouTube, I want to say welcome. We're gonna have an exciting show. I guarantee you that. And so many things are happening in the space. So I look forward to having this discussion. But let me tell you, if if ever if ever somebody spoke about having an election year and all the things, there are some things I want to address, and you might gain popularity or you might lose popularity, but it's always putting things in context, and I always think that is so important. So, the first thing that I want to talk about, because I'm getting the opportunity for the first time on my platform to speak on it, and that is the pardon given to Marcus Garvey by the outgoing president, Joe Biden. Now, to put things in context, Bill Clinton, an attorney, Barack Obama and Michelle Obama, attorneys. Can't recall if Hillary, I know her daughter is, but possibly Hillary Clinton is an attorney. And the Barack Obama specifically, as a black man who was the president of the United States, declined to give a pardon to Marcus Garvey. And I think this is around 2017. I want to say I could be wrong, but um, you know, many persons were disappointed. I know Marcus Garvey's son was disappointed because Caribbean leaders, government, you know, stakeholder, black movement, human rights movement, the black advocacy, everybody was petitioning for the pardon. And, you know, Sunday, when it was announced that he was pardoned, many persons were very happy. I know people are happy because it's a step in the right direction. And then there was a lot of criticism towards Barack Obama. In my mind, I want to say that I know Barack Obama is competent. I know Michelle Obama is competent. These are erudite attorneys, and I know many. I'm going to focus on that because Barack Obama wrote, or he quoted, Marcus Garvey in his book, and he has a full understanding of the black identity, the struggle, the influence of Marcus Garvey on certainly. I'm hoping that you guys are hearing me. I don't see nobody complaining, but the influence of Marcus Garvey on um, you know, the push towards equality for black people, the influence on Malcolm X, the influence on Martin Luther King. I could go on and on. One thing is for certain, that Marcus Garvey is the most influential black leader in existence post slavery. I don't think anybody can argue that. And he's responsible for black pride, um, the importance of loving self, confidence. I don't need to quote him for one of the reasons why I could certainly stand proud as a black man is from the teachings of Marcus Garvey and the influence of great leaders such as him. Um, the irony is that some of our greatest leaders um, would have been political prisoners and would have had convictions. Convictions of any sort in any society is a stain and a mark on the individual. Now, what is clear is that Joe Biden, in granting a pardon, went through a particular process that Marcus Garvey himself would not have been pleased with. For up until his death, Marcus Garvey maintained his innocence. And it is clear from the works, and it's embedded in history, that the conviction of Marcus Garvey was politically motivated and a means to um, destroy the movement as well as breach freedom of expression and, 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 and suppress black pride. Now, he to get a pardon, there has to be a recognition of guilt. There has to be an acceptance of guilt, and there has to be a pardon from that guilt. Now, Marcus Garvey is innocent and claimed innocent, and would not have um, wanted to accept guilt, and for those reasons, humbly putting it in context, I don't. When you think of Obama, who have never spoken publicly on it, but understood the struggle of political victimization of black people, he didn't respectfully grant a pardon because it wasn't prudent to do so, and it would have gone against the wishes of Marcus Garvey. Now, I'm not opening any cans of worms, but we'll say this: there's no need for a pardon when somebody is not guilty. There's no need for rehabilitation if you're not guilty. Um, the why this is significant is that um, you it's easy to say that when you're dead. When you're alive, one can see the futility, or one can see the utility in a pardon because your voting rights are restored. It lessens the stigma of the conviction. But what is legally factual is and legal is that the conviction is not removed. So waking up Sunday and hearing that Marcus Garvey was pardoned does not remove his conviction. And there are many persons in the legal spaces understand that what has to be pushed for is an exoneration, where I'm not seeing where the legal mechanism is right now um, for exoneration, but Congress is there, and there are persons who are pushing for something to be monumental, ceremonial, and significant in having an exoneration, which would clear his name. And I did hear the current president saying that he wants the FBI and the CIA records released, and whether or not the Marcus Garvey files would form a part of that. We must understand that our national hero, if you are Jamaican, and any black people all over the world who's influenced by him, that it is most unfortunate that there's no mechanism in place to exonerate him, knowing what we know now in modern in 2025. And so that's just my little defense of Obama and Bill Clinton, who is the blackest president to ever walk the face of America, and their constant opting to not granting a pardon because they themselves, I believe, understood with the legal mind the nuances of not granting a pardon. Um, Not going to be controversial beyond that, but to say that exoneration is the key. And so Mark Golding would have said, the pardon was given, but what we should do is take it as an exoneration because it is the biggest step that America can take. So kudos to Joe Biden. And yes, the Congresswoman Yvette Clarke, who has given paid a lot of homage to reggae music, dancehall, to Jamaican culture and Afro identity, is pushing for the complete exoneration. I just thought I needed to share that first of all. The second thing that I want to address with everybody is to bring to the forefront um, just a very interesting issue to my mind. The issue that I want to raise is the whole aspect of roads in Jamaica. It is a political year, and so people fall victim to the 9-day wonder media cycle. But there was a time when the prime minister of this country was the builder. He was known and applauded for all the roads that he fixed and maintained. The what he said was no PNP government ever do this and beat way. Cap it! Cap it! And if you know anything about Nigel Clark, that's it. He go, carpet, the carpet, road smooth, and they give road rug till them tired. Them put on the little cheap rug them, and no drain, no proper structure, and I mean it was basically you get chopped, them chop you on the roads, and if you are 18 years of age, I'm gonna say this again, yeah, Pitt, not Brad Pitt, Pitt. And if you are 18 years of age, what it would mean is that the Jamaica Labour Party has been in government for most of your life. In fact, there's a talk about the 18 years that the PNP had. That has subsided because the Andrew Holness led administration has had it for 9 years. He's had about a year or 18 months um, before Portia Simpson took power, and that would bring him to about 10 to 11 years, and Bruce Golding before that. So if you want to add that up, they've had 14 years of about 18 years. And one must not forget that the responsibility is on government, and the government of the day is supposed to act. They're not supposed to complain, and they're not supposed to put blame on the feet of the opposition. In fact, to quote the Prime Minister Rowley, Keith Rowley from Trinidad and Tobago, he says anytime the government has to blame the opposition or shift blame elsewhere, it's time for them to go. And I'm adopting that to say that you don't get the right, and I'm not going to even descend into that arena because I do not, I'm not incompetent, and I don't lack intelligence. And I have to say this, that I cannot go down to the level of being a basic person. Let me say it like that. And because I can't do that, I just always have to use my academic training. So big up to Stella Maris Prep, Meadowbrook High School, and the University of the West Indies, in particular the Faculty of Law. In terms of, and Mr. Abrahams. So Michael Abrahams, your Father Abrahams, significant in my critical thinking ability. And I invite all persons, especially as they watch Context Matters, to open their minds so that they can think critically and they can come to better conclusions, to know that you can't allow people to trick you. You have a whole barrage of people who they're not the I don't even think some of them even go gym and then find themselves on the top of a roller, never lift up a bag of cement in them life. They might break a nail trying to do that. Incapable of doing anything that is manual labor. And you find yourself on the top of a roller talking about you're giving roads, deceiving the people in terms of what it is, what your job description is, and your ability to do something. And in a rule or a guise or a bid to convince the people that somehow you're giving them something that is a right for taxpayers. The least among us, if you buy a patty, you're a taxpayer and they owe you road so you don't broke your ankle and broke your foot. Shout out to the lady in fellowship division who broke her leg on the road and government gonna get sued because she break her leg on the carpet in Portland Eastern. Yeah, simple as that. And I'm raising this because we're at a time where your prime minister has admitted that the state of the roads is a reflection of the economy, and we have had a shrinking economy. This is the worst Jamaica has been in my entire lifetime, and I'm 46 years, and there was a time when life was just good. All when things were bad for your life was good. You could survive on this land, and there's famine on this land, and there's famine on this land because government has neglected and excluded the people. So even in I'm gonna raise it again in a Portland Eastern setting where the water bill comes prorated, there's no water in the pipe. And I know because I live there. No water in the pipe. And if you want water, you have to buy it from the member of parliament. What can go so? Like, think about that. There's no water in your pipe, and then you buy it from the member of parliament. And I suppose if you are one of the subjects of Baslan, you might get mercy, and water is placed in your tank should you have one. And there's no poverty. So you think on those things. Had to raise it. Then there is a series of extrajudicial killings. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Police killings. Am I complaining about it? Well, here's my take. 2 years ago, was it two? Yeah, 3 years ago, I begged young people. I said, listen, the government is a wicked, wicked, wicked government. They have introduced mandatory minimum sentences to ensure that you, a 17-year-old, 16, 12 is the age of criminal responsibility. To ensure that any one of you, once you can do the crime, you spend at least 15 years of your life for possession of a firearm in prison conditions where you would not even conducive for dog. Except Spanish St. Catherine is doing its best. I always big them up because they work well, they do the best with what they have because cleanliness is godliness. But anyway, I have to express these things to you because here it is now. The police goes into a young man's house, and they have the intelligence, and they go into the house and they tell the girlfriend, go look in the cupboard, and while she's in the cupboard, you take up the pillar and you shoot the man and talk about his clappers. Yeah, there are criminal elements in the protect and serve crew, and it's called extrajudicial killings. Now, don't get me wrong. I just the other day they said, that, well, it's last night or this morning or the night before. There's big, 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 big shootout in Spanish Town, and for the first time, a one other person is murdered. The leader of the one other gang is murdered. Um, so I'm sure there are members of parliament who condolences need to be sent to them for one of their own has fallen. But they said, okay, thick man, yeah. All I'm saying is, you know, that's extrajudicial killing, but the police will have to defend themselves because there are persons who are lawless, and therefore critical thinking again. There must be um, there must be context, because if me have a police friend, cousin, brother, them can go out there and man with gun feel so them just a go shoot them and kill them. So we must bring back order into this society. So Blake, you have your hands full in the come. Just do your job and do it properly so people can get redress. Otherwise, human rights attorneys like myself, they're going to cuss and say we're defending criminality because they cannot appreciate that we're defending constitutionality. Two wrongs don't make a right. I think that that's all these things that's happening in the space. But I can tell you this, no matter what happens, when the People's National Party forms the next government, it has to be a government that deals with constitutional rights. And so take sleep, mark death. Look at the people who are petitioning to change the constitution. Look at the serial constitutional violations and ask yourselves, can you trust them to carry out constitutional reform? Because I can tell you I'm not on that side. And do it and beat me. I am the constitutional advocate who can say to you when rights are being breached, broken, abridged, abrogated, we are there to fight for you. And you have to look for that, because the Constitution is there to protect the humanity, humans of Jamaica, and governance and structure. We must come to a place where government understands that they are the servant of the people. No, there are some of us who are MP candidates because of that very reason. And we have decided that we must intervene. We must take up the mantle, and we must put to rest the serial abuse and the wickedness that's happening on the land. God not sleeping up. And how do we go about doing that? Well, when you beat them in the court, they run and rush and change the constitution. So you have to go on the stage what they are. So when you're in their spaces, you can show up incompetence. Just last week, you saw the Minister of Justice incite his parliament, his government, and say, "Hey, don't tell the Integrity Commission your salary and how much money your spouse have. Break the law." Paraphrasing, putting it in context. That's what this show is about. Just in case somebody from the from state media wants to say, I say, we're putting it in context. And he says, yeah. And the General Legal Counsel is silent. An attorney at law, King's Counsel at that, has flouted the law. And there's no other interpretation of the illegality and incitement that he would have put out. And if we are a moral society and we want proper governance and we are encouraging people to uphold the law, do we take that position? But I digress, because I have always said I learn from my seniors even when they are not black. So who did say it? A pig or our master said the word on a level? I don't know. Somebody said the word on a level. Probably gonna ask my guest about that saying about who said the word on the level. So stay with me, because that's my 2 cents for today. And as I said, context matters. People, wake up, open your eyes, and realize. The last thing I'm gonna say, and then I bring in my guest, is I was it's Jackass said the word on the level. I know it was something like that. But anyway, thank you for that. Oh, Hug say it too, but Hug say you don't snort and more say you soon no. Donkey said the world on a level. All right, it's Donkey. See, need to call in Shrek. The green people know. But yeah, the last thing. So the tablet drive is doing really well, and the objectors have indicated, have stated that do not give tablets because you want to make the children bright, and the parents are not bright. So I should stop issuing tablets, and that's exactly why me I go lose because me I try educate the people. If that is the basis upon which I'm going to lose, then guess what? So be it, because children must be educated. It's not a political, guys. It's not vote buying. It's finding the, and when we enter the discussion and people hear about this reality of the rural constituencies and the difficulties and the poverty that people face because of a lack of a robust economy in that microspace, you will appreciate why it is important to give people equity, provide for them things that other places, city life people don't have, if they're ever going to be able to compete, not only in Jamaica, but in the world at large. Anyway, I digress. Context matters. What you say? What say you?
It's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep it straight. No time for living a lie. Gotta keep it moving till you get it right. That's right. It's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep it straight. No time to be living a lie. You can make it if you try. No, I heard them say life much better you live it your own way.
So my guest is with us right now. It is Joan Gordon Webley, West Rural St. Andrew. Yes, see it? I put it there because I know I got it wrong the first time. Welcome to Context Matters. I know I said I had you on for 5:30, but you're so early, which is not a Jamaican trait, and I decide that I would call you up on that and say that don't do it again. You make the rest of us look bad.
Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon to you. But it is a way of life with me. I actually grew up overseas and in England, and you were taught that you had to be early. So many times I'm early and I'm the only one there. It's something it's hard to shake. It's hard to shake.
It is a trait for 2025. I hope many persons adopt. Welcome to Context Matters, and I must tell you this: I am very, very, very excited that you are here. Jamaicans have a lot to learn from you, and this is your space and opportunity to put into context all the things that you want. The first thing I'm going to start off by saying, who is Joan Gordon Webley? You have Reggae Global Radio, you have TikTok, you have YouTube, you have Coda Network. You are being watched all over the world, and we want people to know who you are.
Joan Gordon Webley. First of all, I believe that I am just an ordinary individual, an individual that loves the work that I do. I love people. I enjoy politics. So much is said about it. But my greatest asset, my greatest thing in life is that I have two daughters, and one of them is Joan, and the other is Joanna. And my first granddaughter is Joanne. And I am somebody that loves life. I love to laugh. I don't carry a serious face around the place, you know. I am someone that likes to be of service to people, and I take my politics seriously. I try to do my very best in the constituency that I know I'm in. My acronym is TRIL, TRIL, Tolerance, Respect, integrity, and love. Those are these platforms on which I am going to be working.
All right. I'm glad that you said that. So let's start with tolerance. Put
Yes.
that in context for me. What when we're talking about tolerance, what is tolerance to Joan?
One has to understand that my view may not be your view. Simple. I have to be able to tolerate people's view. That means I have to be a good listener. Because when you don't listen, so much passes you by. I'm not going to be like some persons who continues to speak and don't listen. So I have to be tolerant of views that may not be my own, because in those views I can learn a lot. So I have to be tolerant with my people.
Loving that. And the next one is R. Respect.
I have never known myself to be disrespectful to people,
Mhm.
because the constituency that I operate in, most of it is small farmers, persons who basically live from day to day financially. And I have to understand them. I have to respect them. I cannot speak down to them. I have to learn from them, because as old as I am, they have lessons to teach me. And I have to know that I must respect their views, and I must understand that their views count too.
Loving that. And the integrity. Oh my God. This is the year of integrity commission and those who don't have any. Talk to me. What does that mean to you?
I said, so many of our people have fallen out of love with us persons who are politicians.
Mhm.
Can't blame them when you see what is happening today. I, for one, sometimes I cringe when I stand up there. It is because I know me that sometimes you don't shy away from standing up and speaking about the word integrity. And I say to my people, I know me. I'm going to deal with your work with integrity. I am going to see to it that the last dollar is spent in a proper way.
Mhm.
Going to siphon off anything. This is just too bad. I mean, Jamaica looks so bad. Such a beautiful island. We are the best. We have the best. And we also have the worst amongst us as well.
Mhm.
And politicians on a whole have not set a good example. And I feel so badly when I hear people say, oh, but you're all the same. And I stand in front of them, and I say to them, I am not the same, not taking on somebody's bad behavior as my own. And I'm going to live up to those principles.
Okay. I'm going to introduce you to Kendrick Lamar. He has a song called They're Not Like Us. We can sing it together. They not like us. They not like us. Just ask your daughter about it. I leave that it will be an inside joke. But
Yeah,
I love that because you are correct. Integrity, as I've always defined on this show, is that internal locus of control where when nobody is looking, you know to do the right thing.
that is correct.
It brings about accountability, and you can sleep good at night knowing that if something shows up and it's not accounted for, you know it is there because you did not take it.
That's right.
And it will be produced, and you can step to a podium and say, it is here. And alas, here it is because it hasn't escaped in nearby bushes like the roads in Portland and elsewhere. But what
Uh,
is the L?
love.
Love.
You have got to love people to do this work. I will not use this platform of politics
Mhm.
to use people. I want to love them.
Love them.
I want to genuinely work on behalf of them. I have so many stories of persons who have really loved me in that constituency, because, I have grown up in politics, actually, grown
Mhm.
up in politics. And so many of them will call me. Last night, for instance, I got home doing some work at one of my workers' home and doing a little training. And she says, make sure you call me when you get home. And I said, sure, man. And she called me last night after I did. And she says, you did not call me. How do you expect me to go to sleep when you did not call me? I have a great deal of love, and I'm going to love them right back. Right.
Yeah. Loving that. You know, when you said that, you know, from time to time, when you're in your constituency, your social media, I don't know if I think it's your daughter that should get credit for your social media. You must tell me if I'm wrong, but you are in the space. You can say it's you if it's you, you know, but we just assume.
I tell you this, I have a daughter that is second to none. My daughter is married and living in Italy.
Yes.
When she saw that I had decided to go, she got on the plane. She says, you will not be allowed to lose. You are such a nice person. You are so kind. You're so loving. You're so giving. I said, oh my God. She says, you're so hardworking. I stood in front of her and my eyes were filled with water because of the way my daughter was loving me up. And you know, she knows I love her right back. I really do. My girl
so.
in the world.
I believe so. And here's why I know your social media captures you and your maternal, the definition of that maternal instinct is shown. I saw how you gave your contribution and you motivated the people in that community. Yes. I don't need to talk about your opponent. She's good doing it all by herself. So we won't go there. But you
see this tape I have on? I have
yes.
I was in the community earlier today fixing a road that had not been fixed for umpteen of years.
That's the road I'm talking about, and I saw you and them and the truck come and dump up the road, and you guys are doing it, not with government money.
Working on it. And a gentleman came up to me and he just started to tell me about me. Tell me about me, you know, he has never met me. He says, but I have watched you and I've listened to you. And he wrapped this around me. He says it's a Marcus Garvey flag. His name is Fire Ross.
Okay.
And for Capleton. I didn't know. And, you know, the Golden Hill community, you know, so thankful for what is happening. They were all out there. And you know what was instructive to me? 2 days. And you know, no one asked me for a drink. Isn't that something? They were just so happy to get the road. And they have decided that they are going out there with their shovel, the fork, the spade, and putting in the water tables, cleaning out the drains. Once the work has been done. I feel very blessed. And I tell you, I love a rural constituency. It is huge. It has a lot of room to cover.
It will let you lose the weight, yes.
Well,
preach it.
Maybe that's why I'm so skinny. Not really skinny, but I walk a lot. And I like to see to the end of the constituency. I actually walk 7 days a week is my work program. But there are times when I can't and something happens. But I walk, and I enjoy country people. I love it. I really do. You know, when the kids come out, evening, ma'am, evening, sir. Oh, man. You don't hear that in town?
Manners,
man. Yes.
So here's what I wanted to ask you. So the government has the Spark program, the Reach program. They're excited. I saw your opponent jump up on the roller. All of them do it. So I'm sure they've seen all of them on the roller and is celebrating like the entire constituency is roads is done. You're in a rural, I'm in a rural. So putting it in context, what's the conditions of the roads and what motivated you to just say, listen, we have to do this road?
First of all, the program for me that's
Mm,
going on is a joke.
mm.
Honestly, I saw one.
Elaborate for me, elaborate. Please
I,
take your time.
Let me just speak about one road for the time being.
Yes.
In the Brandon Hill area,
Mm,
my opponent placed on social media a photo, of the fact that she had done such a road. And I got some calls in to say, well, the constituents alerted me to it. What is this she's talking about? And I must come. And I went the morning early to look at the roads. And I saw where a little asphalt had been dropped here, and there was a pothole there, and that was not done. And another little blotch of asphalt done here, and then another little section. And really and truly, it's a joke. Number one, there are no drainage. So you're just leaving that there for the first rain to come. The asphalt is thin. You're
yes.
leaving that there for the first shower of rain to
7 days of rain and every
yeah,
pot
and
is
it's
back.
gone. And I am annoyed because it's my taxpayers' money. And I am saying to myself, do a good piece of road. Put in the drains. You must have heard recently where we had a massive breakaway on a road that the community has been divided. I
Yes.
went there, it happened the Friday night. I went there the Saturday morning. And when I got there the Saturday morning, the residents were out cutting a footpath up the hill, Mount
Mm,
Airy,
to get around, yes.
connect with the
Mm,
other parts of the community. And I stood and I walked around and I looked. And in the afternoon, the member of parliament came, and the next morning she sent one load of mal. And I went back up because I brought some food stuff for the persons, who had been cut off. It was hard for them to be able to traverse the hillside where some men had cut some footpath. Very happy for that, because at least they're doing something. They weren't just sitting down waiting. And I saw the truckload of mal, and I asked myself, what in the world is this for? When you look at the road, all the drains were blocked, all
mhm.
the culverts were blocked, all the landslips are still in place. I would have thought what you would have done is make sure that you open up the drains, you take the landslips off the corner, so that when more water come, because our constituency rains a lot,
Mm-hmm.
the water could go into where you want it to go.
And run
Nothing
off.
like that. And to today's date, none of that has been done. Just a massive load of mal sitting there, just to be washed away. It makes no sense.
It's not just sitting there. The marl is there, so when you vote, it can be completed. And surely, the government fixes road, they don't fix drain. What are you talking about, Joan? How
But
dare you?
then what they are doing is, I am convinced that that type of program
Yes,
is just making sure that more money comes quickly. That's my feeling. You
I
go back
agree.
there and you actually see the areas that were broken away, and the cracks that were still there, and you know that it's going to continue to break.
Yes, until the entire road
Open the
collapses.
culvert, you have not opened the drains, and we've had Christmas money given to them. Not $1 was spent in the Brandon Hill area, which is the one division that the
Mm.
People's National Party won. It is, I don't know if it is that we have come to the situation now where only one party pays taxes. And I tell you, I will never be that MP. I will never be that MP.
How are
That,
your constituents feeling about that neglect? That they
oh,
exercise their right to vote and their choice of party and are being punished for it for the last 9 years?
Well, one of the things that I continue to tell my constituents, because they seem so downhearted, boy, this no make sense. It no make sense you vote. And I keep telling them that what you're doing is allowing 70% of the people to sit, 70% of the people is sitting home, and you're allowing 30% of the people to make the decision for you. And they are not all bad. We are not in every profession. You have the bad and you have the good.
Yes.
And you cannot stop trying. This is the only country you and I can be first-class citizens. No one can throw us out of it. And we have a duty to the country to make sure that we come out and vote. And in the same way, when you put me in, I do not do my work. Vote me out as well. I'm in agreement for that. But give me my opportunity to show you what I can do. But also understand that I'm expecting you to join me in the work, because government is not at a stage where we can do everything.
And they have joined you now, because
They
it is a team, and I'm applauding your community along with yourself, um, who have come together and decided that they're going to take matters in their own hand, because the government is failing to do it, even with announcements of road fixing and road patching and this false promise of, like when they announced the Spark program, like every road was going to be fixed, and parochial roads are not included, farm roads are not included.
no,
So
no, no.
entire rural constituencies excluded from all these fandangles that they're talking about.
Absolutely. I remember a time when coffee was king. We were the second highest foreign
Coffee was
exchange
king.
earner. We were the second highest foreign exchange earner for this country.
Yes.
And we have our farmers there. And, I am a farmer myself. I farm coffee. And I tell you, I am beside myself to see how the rural constituencies are being treated. I was having a chat with party leader recently, and I was saying to him, it cannot be that if $10 is given to the Kingston constituency to fix a road, the same amount comes to a rural area. The fact is, we provide a lot of foreign exchange. We also, at the bread basket, we pass down, we bring down the food to sell. And the roads are just deplorable. Deplorable, I tell you. There are times when the roads are nearly closed because there is no bushing taking place. There's no cleaning of the drains. Nothing is happening in West St. Andrew. And I see the Spark program comes with a little patching here and a little patching there and a little patching over there. And I'm asking myself, what has happened to the days when you used to have the public works department come out and make sure that mixtures, the consistency of what goes on the road remains the same?
Yes.
What happened to those days? Because certainly I am not seeing anybody, and I have asked people to stop and watch, find out and ask, who is really passing these roads? Who? There is no proper surface. You see dirt thrown into holes. And after the dirt is thrown into a hole, you see a little asphalt, and then that's it. And at the first sign of rain,
Yeah.
it's gone.
Or one heavy load, one truck with heavy load just coming, and as soon as the tire rolls over it, the pothole returns.
Yes.
I'm happy that you're putting it into context, because let me tell you my biggest shocker. Going into Portland Eastern, especially coming from St. Andrew and working in the Kingston area, where a constituency in the Kingston area is as big as probably one division in a rural area.
That's correct.
So
it's smaller than yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. It's probably smaller than just one division. And I just for you, because you this is not your first go at politics. And I'm saying this because I'm seeing in the comments people are saying how loving you were when you were a candidate in another constituency.
Wow.
And so it is clear that what you are doing is not an act, because to put in context, the viewers are expressing that they feel your energy and your compassion and your empathy. So that's major. But I must ask you, you are there 7 days a week. How do you keep your stamina going? And how are you coping with taking on so much, especially in your constituency? I have to drive through Stony Hill and all such a major thoroughfare, and they patch the road and rainfall and it dig up already and they're repatching them. I
Yeah,
would go
yeah,
because I traverse that road at least
exactly.
once or twice a week. But I
It,
mean, what do you say to your constituents who are seeing your opponent saying she's doing the work, but that is not the case? What are they saying to you?
well, first of all, they're saying to me, it makes their blood boil to
Mhm.
see how the social media thing is going, because it is giving the impression that work is being done. um, Red Gathering, for instance, that was dug out, and within 2 months or so, it was gone, and it is being done again. And one of the things we want to know is there a situation when a contractor gets work, there has to be a time period in which, if there is any fault with the road, it is redone by them,
Mm,
because it really is upsetting to them, and they're wondering how is it that the people are being paid to constantly do the same work, and so much is being done on the same place, and they can't seem to find the reason why it's happening. And is there no technical person there that
mhm.
makes sure that what was to have been done is done? Is there no technical persons
No
of
quality control manager, no warranty, no guarantee, just nothing. It's almost like
That's right.
I want to say Taste and Buy, but that's a club in Port Antonio, and I don't want them to have the wrong idea. But it's almost like you push in the bag, you buy this, and then you realize it's garbage, it's trash, it's not working. No mechanisms, no inspection, nothing. So I'm going to piggyback on that and then ask you about crime and the human aspect, especially in the context. And I have to raise it. I have to put you on in the hot seat. There
Mhm.
was a young man in your community, and it's your community, because the MP is clearly absent, who was
Mhm.
murdered. An
Yes.
upstanding business owner who was murdered in cold blood by the police force. Um, Not a criminal,
Mm-mm.
but treated like one. What is the mood with the community? And I want you to let the public know what you have done to quail the bitterness that has been placed on an entire family because a son of Jamaica with all the prospects of positivity was murdered.
Boy, I tell you, this is something that sometimes you just can't explain. You just go cold. But
Mhm,
yes, this young man was murdered, and I went and I visited the family and the community, because
mhm,
when I was coming at the top of the road, you could hear the screams. I went and I visited the family, and you just don't know what to say, because when you're told what happened and something needs to be done. I am not going to speak about what happened because these are things that I was told, and I am not trying any case. Albeit, I went back sometime later and I have been keeping in touch with the family because I believe that they need help. The community is crying out for help. I went back sometime later and I brought party chairman Angela Brownberg there. And, in talking to the parents and talking to the cousins and talking to the people around and everybody talking about this young man, it is said that the young man is part of the police youth club. It is also said that there were no police from the station that night. So it would have seemed that a number of persons came in and did what they had to do, did what they did. And had they felt that if somebody from the station was there with them, he would have been alive today, because they know the station. Yeah. You hear the older ladies saying that when they run out of cash, and when they run out of cash, because some of them get a little something from overseas, because they don't have it, and run out of money. This is a young man that they can send to his shop, and he will, Miss Joan, them trust with morning, noon, and night. It doesn't matter how much time we got there in trust with. And when you hear that happening, I heard policemen who were his friends saying they can't believe that this has happened. And it brings to mind a number of issues that I have that I am looking at in my own mind.
Right.
This is not the first time that I was an MP. I'm speaking it into being. But I remember once when there was a state of emergency and a number of youngsters were picked up on the road.
Yes.
And the mother went to the station to find out where her son was. And I remember the station said, oh, they didn't bring him here. They might have brought him to Ellison Road. She went to Ellison Road. Oh, he's not there. He's out at Bull Bay. She went to Bull Bay. Oh, he's not there. He's in Port Royal. And she went to Port Royal. And for 3 weeks,
she couldn't find him.
For 3 weeks, she could not find her son. When her son came out, he became a vegetable. He was raped several times. I've forgotten it. I cried like a baby. And I said to myself, it is a sin to be poor. Sin to be poor, because this would not have happened in an uptown area. And we all have to start to look at what is happening in this country. You can't pick up youngsters on the road and throw them in a lockup with hardened criminals. And that is the reason why a lot of problems is happening in the country, because they go into these lockups, they meet people all over the country, and when they come out, some of them had advanced in criminality. And the very people that are in lockup now start to come visit them in the country areas. And some of them are at a state where the country people can't even talk in their community. We have to spend time to rehabilitate our people. We cannot keep them in the prisons looking like that, because at the end of the day, we are making monsters of them.
Hold that point, bro. We're at the top of the hour and I have to take that station break.
It's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep it straight. No time for living a lie. Gotta keep it moving till you keep it stride. No time for living a lie. Gotta keep it moving till you get it right. That's right, it's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep it stride. No time to be living a lie. You can make it if you try. No, I heard them say life much better you live it your own way.
Step in it, night have come. Look here, keep we are so step in it. Step in there. Party goal.
All right.
Mm.
All right. Yes. So you were saying just before we did the time signal that
Yes.
the community, you're speaking about the communities and the state of emergency. To put in context, as we are speaking, a state of emergency has been called, you know, based on what's going on in various areas. There is this disconnect between the reality that there are two Jamaicas existing.
Yes.
This government is in the business of turning ordinary citizens into criminals.
Absolutely.
I shared a similar experience with states of emergencies that caused me to have to sue the government in order to stop the state of emergencies, and that was done. And they say, oh, it's a crime fighting tool, and those who are not too au fait with the law seem to have a position about people, lawyers like myself, standing in the way of fighting crime. But when you hear that a young man who has a mother, who has a family, just like Andrew, who lost his life, uh,
Mm-hmm.
who, without any justification, his life is forfeited by way of murder, and families will have to pick up the pieces. And what you described just now is post-traumatic slave syndrome, because they will, with the slave masters, would draw out the healthiest, strongest male, and they would either buck or they would either kill.
Mm-hmm.
And when I spoke to the family of Andrew, and it's a family that's filled with women,
Yes.
including his girlfriend. But he had an uncle who lived just up the road, or and a cousin, and the emasculation that they felt. Not only them. So speaking about the males who feel helpless, afraid, scared, because it could have happened to them. The fear put into them, and a rehashing of the slave experience is unbelievable, to think that we are living in a democracy where our justice system, in fact, works, and the wrong agendas are being carried out. So I just had to share that with you, because I was shocked to hear what you experienced from another community. And this is something happening all over Jamaica, where the wrong people oftentimes are the ones that's being murdered, not being brought, and the criminals are allowed to run free.
Yes. One of the awful things again,
Hmm.
where Andrew is concerned, there was another young man who the police knocked up, woke up out of their home, and pulled him out, held him by his 2 foot, and dipped him in water in a drum. Same night, had him there, about to him, and I gather the youngster was struggling so hard that the drum turned over.
Right.
And lucky for him. And the officers were just laughing, send him back into the house to take off the wet clothes, put on new clothes, and march him off to the station. This is downright abuse. And
Abuse of power, yes.
what you are doing, you're building that up. When we went and took party chairman to the family who was there consoling them, because she is walking with me, I normally inform the police when I'm walking with my party officials. And there were policemen there, and the kids started to run from them, run from them in the house and lock up. And I said, what's that? They're afraid of the police. No, you cannot police Jamaica without the citizens. You must have the citizens to properly police the country. And the youngsters were running from them. And we had to go in and say, no, you know, I mean, and I feel badly for some police officers too.
Right.
You have great men and women in the police force. And
More and let me reiterate, you have more great men and women than the radicals.
that's right.
Just
That-
like in Jamaica,
That's
you
right.
have the best and brightest and most ambitious people in ghetto, living in poverty, living everywhere in Jamaica. It is the radicals that give Jamaica a bad name, and we paint heavily with a broad brush. I just wanted to put that in context so that
Correct.
people understand.
Correct. You are so correct. Yes. You know, I am saying to myself, where do we go from here?
Mhm.
There's a lot to be fixed. It is evident to me that the present government cannot fix it. As far as I'm concerned, they're part of the problem. And that stems from people who are untrained, really do not know what they're doing. And I am not bashing anyone, but we need to look at those who have been put in spaces to do a job.
Mhm.
I believe that my leader is trained in finance, which is one of the number one area that we're going to need to be able to bring this country around. We are looking at, he is trained in legal reforms. And I'm saying to myself, let us put the two men together. Where has the other gentleman worked? And what has he done to show what he could have done to manage this country? And I am one of those persons who's going to be constantly pushing for education, because at the end of the day, we have to have people who are prepared for the job, people who have stamina and willing to do the work, because we really don't have that at the top of this country. And that is one of our greatest problems right now. There is no vision. I don't know, you know, can somebody tell me what he's equipped for?
Well, you make a reference to the Prime Minister?
Yes, I am.
Well,
Side by side. What is his professional experience to
opening
do?
28 bank accounts and making it 16.
Beg your pardon?
Opening 28 bank accounts and forgetting that it's 28.
And you know, the joke of the matter is, all of these departments that is underneath him, this is crazy. Absolutely crazy. No work can be done that way. Is it
True.
that he doesn't trust anybody around him to do anything? You know, the country is not a one-man show.
Very true.
Any prime minister that backs up all of these departments under their portfolio, it is certain that nothing can be done. They get the time to do it.
Agreed. Agreed. Very, very much agree. We are in agreement, consensus ad idem where that is concerned. Now, in terms of dealing with in terms of dealing with just your this rural constituency now, and what are some of the challenges that you are facing to navigate this?
In my constituency, we have the continuous problem of roads,
Mhm.
of water problems, We have access to land. There are so many persons that are on lands that,
Mm-hmm.
in my mind, should be cut up and given to them. Their families have lived there for many, many years. We need to be able to look at land titling,
Mm-hmm.
have problems such as access, and I mean access to health care. Let us look at West Rural. If you are pregnant,
Mm-hmm.
you will have to find someone who lives in town, because our health centers are very few and far between. And they are so far away that you would probably reach town quicker. So you have to come to town and
Mm-hmm.
to be able to have that baby. The roads are so bad that people have to carry out tying sticks two sides and carry you to be able to come out and get a transport. And how far do they have to go and get that transport? Because taxi men are not coming up in most of the hillside.
Mm-hmm.
So, there are no services there. We have situations where we have health center in the constituency that bush is growing on top of, and it's not opened. We
Mm.
have a situation where our where we get our mails from, our post offices
Right.
are being locked down. And when you get that pension and you come to the post office as far as Manning's Hill or inside of where is this now? Manor Park.
Right.
Going to find is that whatever it is they get on that pension check
Mm-hmm.
is done in
Just,
transportation.
just to go, just to pick it up. Right.
These are elderly people. We must bring service to them. My God, they were the ones that looked after this country so that we are in it now. We cannot
Mm-hmm.
continue to treat them this way. I have known of situations where health centers have been locked down in the hills, and these persons had to travel as far as Gordontown to get to a health center. And when they get there, the doctors tell them that their docket is not there, and they have to go back home and come back again.
And
They-
find the transportation money.
Again, absolutely. We are treating our elderly badly in this country. Our rural people have it so hard. I'm not
Mm.
saying town people don't have it hard, but not as hard as the country folks. They
Right.
just have any service, no service whatsoever. No service. Our water is bad. Our roads are deplorable. We don't, the health centers are being closed. Post office is like a thing of the past. They have to come to town. We cannot continue to deal with our people in this fashion. In the same way, let us
Mm-hmm.
look at our schools. One headmaster told me the other day, he said, Mrs. Webley, on Thursdays and Fridays, half of the school is empty because they do not have, the parents cannot find the fare to give the kids to go to the schools.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't have the food to give them either. And he went on to say that they send we Nutribon twice a week. It's not even baked properly. We have to throw it away.
Mm.
I've had the experience where youngsters leave their homes 4 o'clock in the morning, walk for an hour to where they can get transport. And when they get there, they have to stand for another hour because the taxi people are taking the bigger persons because the small ones fares are
Little
not
bit.
them.
Right.
Big.
Mm.
And so they leave them standing in those squares for hours. They have to then get, when they come into town to school, because secondary school, what do you think happened? They have to spend hours again to get back home.
Right.
They are not working on the same playing field as those that are in Kingston or those who can afford.
I'm I'm
I,
I'm
my
feeling
heart,
that. I mean, I share a similar experience, and I guess that's the thing about the rural landscape, is that access to facilities is almost non-existent, or if the facility is even in existence, it cannot facilitate the issues of the people in the spaces.
that's correct.
No, I know that you're big on education, but I want you to marry the water problem in your constituency if you have one. I don't know. In Portland Eastern, there is no water unless you buy it from the MP. No water running in the pipe, and again, it's rural. Not everybody is rich and can afford a tank. And I no matter how much tanks I give out, it will never be enough.
We share the same pain.
Mm,
There are so many areas without water, but one of the things we have to start looking at is the amount of streams that we find inside of some of our rural constituencies. There, I am not foolish enough to think that we'll be able to bring um, NWC water in some areas way up
yeah.
the side with a small population to serve. But I'm believing that there is water that can be found in many little areas. And
Hmm.
we have to start to use the concrete and stones and build catchment areas. We have to start to look at how we even build our homes. We have to start doing catchment because the water that comes, the rain is better than the one that comes in the pipe. And we ourselves as representatives has to pinpoint these things and start to look at them.
Hmm.
I believe
Alternative solutions to water.
solutions to water.
Hmm.
Recently, when this particular road was broken, an entire community below where the breakage took place didn't have water. And when I went up the morning, I saw the condition with pipes just hanging. I couldn't take it. I just couldn't take what I was seeing. And
Hmm.
I asked the community, what can I do to help? And they said, boy, miss, we need some water. And I called one of the hardware in the area and I said, this is the men told me, because these are sensible people, you know. This is the pipes we're going to need. Attach, I need for you to send it up. I'll pay when I'm on my way down for the transportation as well as the
Hmm.
pipe. And I was taken to task by the MP. How dare I come into the constituency and
And
go
fix
buy
something.
fix
Yes.
pipe. This is, we are not supposed to do that. This is water commission pipes and I'm not to tamper with them. And she gave myself and the councillor Christina tongue lashing, and you know she good at that.
Hmm.
About, about the fact, you know, and I said I simply will not go down that road with her, you know. I
Yeah.
respect myself. But I just looked and I said to myself, a little relief I'm bringing to the people. When the water commission comes up to connect the pipe, let them do that. But in the meantime, I'm going to try and help. And if I've done something wrong, well, I stand accused.
Right.
That's it. I'm not taking her on. I'm going to do what I can do. And, you know, I'm not going to allow her to take me down a path. I'm going to do what I believe is right for the people.
Now, tell me, in relation to this road that you have undertaken with the community to to get sorted, to fix, bring some a little ease of discomfort to the community. Will the same hold true? Because there are many things that I would have attempted to do in that space, and it comes with great resistance by the relevant bodies. There was a market that needed light, and I got all the supplies and tried to get the approval, and they went and did it themselves. Similar to roads, they'll stop you from doing patchwork because they want to do it, and then jump on the on the steamroller to say, "Oh, look, I'm fixing a road." But what kind of resistance that you get? And this is the context. I have a they government took the office back from the PNP in my constituency, the constituency office. And so I went and got a trailer so that the people could have somewhere to meet me as a human being. And the parish council decided that no, they're stopping that. And it was the legal office that I was put in there, not necessarily constituency office, because a
Mhm.
lot of legal needs, you're trying to get it done for them pro bono. But so the government will stand in the way of progress for the people. I just want to know what's your thought on that in relation to this road and any other project that you would like to undertake, but you get a tongue lashing from the MP.
Well, I will say this. I tried to go down that road, and I know a number of persons down there that have foot problem.
Hmm.
They can't walk those roads, and I really couldn't take it any longer when I saw some things that I saw. I tried going down, as I said, and I just couldn't. I stopped, and persons have been asking for some relief to be done.
Hmm.
I felt I had to give them some relief. I am not going to be in a position to asphalt it and so forth. But if you saw what I saw, there's
Hmm.
no way you could leave it. The kids are having problems. The holes are so deep you could put a car in it and cover it. It had just gone. It was just gone. So you had houses on the banking, and the road was just washed away. And you could not cement it to get a road. You
Hmm.
had to fill it up to
So
be
the
able.
so the MP is not aware of those holes.
Well, if she's not aware, she has had 9 years to be aware, and she's not aware.
Oh
So
dear.
she really and truly, you know what the people say? They say that since I'm coming there and around the constituency, every now she appears because she was not appearing before. So I hope and trust that she will not pull a lawsuit on me to for fixing the road. And it's, to me, it's not fixed. It's giving the people relief, because the way I want to have it fixed is not what is done,
Right.
but I'm giving them relief. Yeah,
Within your capacity as the candidate.
yes,
Yes.
yes. And this is tomorrow's the third day, and we're gonna maybe move up to 4 or 5 days, because they are now coming out with their shovel and spade and fork to put in water tables so that they can drive down. I mean, it's Christmas for them, thank God.
Well, the boy, if as you inform us and educate us on this issue, I'm looking forward to you giving her a silver medal. She's good. She's so good at those. But that's a whole lot of thing. So keep at it, keep the engine going, because them can't catch up this time. Them can't catch up. The goal is yours. But I mean, in terms of one of the things, and every time I get the pleasure of having discussions with you, you are so selfless. You care so much about people that you oftentimes don't talk about yourself. And
I,
I would do a great injustice to you if I allow you to dance around the topic of your greatness. I'm going to ask the question again. Who is Joan Gordon Webley, the politician?
Joan Gordon Webley was born in Pellerville, Hanover, right up in the bush.
Okay.
And my parents, my mother and father were never married, but they both migrated to England, and one lived in Manchester and the other in Wolverhampton. I was placed with relatives who ill treated me, and I became a battered child, really. But one thing I will tell you, I was always a churchgoer. I love to read my Bible. It tells you about everything. It tells you about life. If you really stop and contemplate, it tells you about everything. I was fortunate enough to have been taken to England by my father, but who sent me to live with my mother. And shortly after I arrived in England, he went to Canada to live with his family.
Yes.
Life became unbearable after that because, mother felt that, the things, you see you're not wanted and that sort of thing. But I tell you that my Bible has been it's been my best friend. And I remember reading a lot of things, and I had a good voice. And I used to sing a lot, and I started to win competitions in Wolverhampton. And I was taken to Madame Tussauds. I was taken to Oliver Twist in London. I was
Wow.
to the changing of the guards, and I saw life there. And I thought, oh my God, just do what you need to do. I studied hard, I did well, but I'll tell you this. There is none of us that have not gone that journey and come upon a number of potholes. I fell into the rut a couple of times, but
And you were not in West Rural, you were not in this current constituency, and you were falling in potholes. All right,
potholes in my
let
life.
me start. Go
You're too bad.
ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Thought you were in Portland Eastern. It's fine. It's fine. Go ahead.
Yes, I had my first daughter in England, Joanna. Such a blessing. And I came back to Jamaica, and I've always loved working with people, social work. I came back to Jamaica and I started to do work for the Kingston JCs. After doing work for the Kingston JCs, I was sent into an area called Rima, and I did a project called Clothe the People. Because of my state of nothingness in England, I became very good at sewing. So I used to sew, I can sew you a nice jacket, anything with my hand. I embroidered very well. Those are the things I could do very well
Yeah.
because I needed them and I didn't have the money for them. But after a time, I became pregnant. I left home at 16, ill treatment again. I ran away from home and lived with girlfriend, my girlfriend mother, who she had 11 kids, but loved me. But home life was so awful. And after that, I became pregnant, as I mentioned, and I decided I'm coming back to Jamaica. I did not know anyone in Jamaica at the time, but I knew people in England, and they came to Jamaica, and I wrote to them and asked them if they could find some place for me to live. Because one thing I did not like about England, or two things, I lived across from Enoch Powell, who was the greatest spouter of hatred for Black people.
Wow.
Another thing I did not like about England was the rain. It rained. We don't have. It isn't the snow so much like the sludge. It snows and it rains and it is soggy and it is mushy, wet, and it's just damp. So I came back to Jamaica and I went to work. I I went to work at Hardware and Lumber. I dreamt the night before that I went to this place. I saw something being advertised, and I dreamt that I was going to this place, and I saw the look of the place. And I tell you, when I walked into Hardware and Lumber that morning for this interview,
Mm-hmm.
the place was exactly as I saw it, and I knew I'd gotten the job. I talk to God all the time,
Mm-hmm.
that job. I stayed at Hardware and Lumber and did very well. And then I went on to work in the life insurance industry and did extremely well there. I became $1 million round table in my first year. I was the top producer in my branch over and over and over again. And even while doing that, I was still working with the JCs. And it was there that I came upon politics. I had seen Comrade Michael Manley in the news in England, and I thought, oh, what a lovely man. When I came back and I started to work in Remo, I came upon politics. I saw people's homes being pushed aside, and I heard cry. And the project that I was doing was called Clothe the People, where we
Right.
had purchased machines and taught them to go door to door and get orders. I would walk with them, and we would sew uniforms in the area, and we would pay the money from them, and you would hold the profits to buy more uniform material, that sort of thing. And as I mentioned, it was while I was there that I came head on with politics. I met Mr. Pernell Charles there. One evening, myself and some of my colleagues, when we were going home, it was raining bitterly, and he gave us a drive, and he introduced politics to me. And the area that I was living in was thickly labor.
Mm-hmm.
Dawn Road, I'll never forget it. And during the state of emergency, the candidate for that area was locked up. And I just simply walked to Belmont Road, took a bus to Belmont Road. And I said I asked to speak with the general secretary. And I went, and I told him where I was living. And he says to me, oh, that's for the Apps constituency. And he went into a file, and he pulled out a big file, and he gave it to me. And he says, go down and familiarize yourself with the constituency. Gave me a few pointers. And I started to laugh, and I thought, well, this man is surely mad. I don't know anything. I don't know anything about politics.
So it was handed over to you.
Yes, he says to me, I said, but he says, from the mere fact you know that there's a state of emergency, and you had the guts to come through this door to ask to do work, you can manage. Go down there. These are the names of people. Get in touch with them. Let them talk to you. Walk around. And in 2 weeks, you come back to me, and we will talk. And that was
that.
That was it. That was Bruce Golding. And the rest is history. I have done a lot in my time. I headed the Caribbean Democrat Union. I was the first president of the Women in Democracy for the Caribbean. I was second vice president for Women in Democracy worldwide. I was advisor to the Prime Minister of Grenada. I was ambassador at large for the government of Grenada. I have received the keys to the city of Flint, Michigan, and Dallas, Texas, and so much more. But my greatest accomplishment are my two girls. Unfortunately, my husband died early, and they've been by my side relentlessly. Anything that I'm into, they're into. And I'm so proud of them. I'm so happy. God has blessed me real good with health and strength and daily food. And I believe that it is my business to pass that on. I mean, even when I'm not in Jamaica, I've thought of Jamaica, and I do things outside of Jamaica for Jamaica. During the Christmas, my girls know that we don't have Christmas dinner. unless we have done our duty by going through the constituencies
And helping.
and helping, making sure that we give food packages, making sure that we help the kids with back to school items. I just cannot not do it, whether I'm in government or not. It's what I like to do. I love to work with people. And you know what? I remember one day I went down to a hillside and it started to rain, and the soil is one of those clay things that when you are going up the hill, you can't get up there. And I was in a car, and I remember I was running for my car to get up that hillside, and a youngster came and he knocked on my door and says, Miss Joan, that's what they call me, Miss Joan. Miss Joan, Granny say you have to hold on, man, if you hold on. And I'm saying, oh God, I'm not going to get up the hill on time. And then I see Granny coming, hobbling on her stick. And Granny says, little girl, I bring this for you. And she had a crush up paper bag, a little 2-pound paper bag, really crush up. You know, the bags that, has been to shop many times.
Yes.
And she handed me that, and I opened it, and there were 5 eggs inside of it. She says, this is yours, And she said, listen to me. I want the fowl to wait to lay the 6th one, you see. And I try, and she wouldn't lay the 6th one. And the tears was just running down my eyes. I couldn't believe it. Here, lady, so appreciative of me, giving me 5 eggs, and vexed because the fowl wouldn't lay the 6th egg.
Right.
Going to the constituencies, and you see the people, places like Westphalia, they grow, you can smell their scallion in town. It's so strong and nice. They pack you up with stuff. And I used to have to bring it to town because you can't leave it, because you be rude to them and not take it.
Exactly.
I would come down to town and I would share it up with people on the level that I know need it. I'm telling you, man, that's what I want to do for the rest of my life. Look after people and look out for people. Advocate.
That's what you call a life of service. Now, putting you back in the hot seat. This election is an election that deals with it touches and concerns a possible referendum involving switching to republic and constitutional reform. No, there are going to be many persons who were on the green side who have completely had enough. And they're going to come over to the People's National Party, their rightful home, so they can be a human being again and be included. What made you cross the fence?
I always say to people, I didn't cross the fence. I had left politics.
Okay.
I left politics and was living in Grenada. I came back because I was asked to come back by Bruce Golding when he took over. I felt that I'm one of those persons who I don't choose my friends, by the way, because of politics. I have friends on opposite side, and I don't ask people what they are. I was asked to run the National Solid Waste, and anyone will tell you in there, do not come to me and point out who is a comrade or who is a laborite. I'm not interested.
Exactly.
The only thing you can point out to me is who is doing good work and who is doing none. That's me. And I make no apologies for it. You grow up. I grew up. Remember, I became the first woman, the youngest woman to be in politics in Jamaica. And I always believed when I was with the GLP and was growing up, when I looked at how many homes People's National Party was building, and there were some policies that just, wow, why can't we do that? Why can't we do that? And that I am sitting in front of you, and honestly, I'm one of those people who believe you can't be in a home and come out and disgrace it. And I'm not going to disgrace where I'm coming, where I have been. I'm not going to do that. But certainly I can tell you that the People's National Party's policies are in keeping with my thinking to date and my growing up.
You grew up.
Young then. I am much older now. And I have grown to see that these are the policies that is right for our people. That's what I believe. That's what I believe. And I just want to say something to my own People's National Party people. Do not throw everything. Don't cast the die. People want to come. People want to come. People want to know they'll be accepted. Let us accept people. People grow up. Don't let anybody believe that because you are not. I am saying to you that I have grown up and I believe this is the right place to be. And I want to thank Portia Simpson Miller, Frank, because it was Comrade Paulwell who spoke to me and said that this was a direct call of Comrade Portia Simpson Miller to speak with me. I want to thank people like Angela Brown Burke, stood there for me because, you know, some people are not so kind sometimes. For that to detract though. I know the path I want to take and I'm resolute in whatever I do. I do not do things lightly. I think about them. And when I've made a decision, I have made a decision. That's Joan Gordon Webley. And this is the place I want to be and will continue to be as long as people will have me.
I felt that just now. I felt that. And I know PNP, the slogan is time come. But you know, it's time to grow up. And those of you, as you grow up, you will see that the People's National Party is the party of Michael Manley, that provided home and houses, education and opportunities for the people of Jamaica. And I think you said it right. It is not a crossing the fence. It is a growing up.
Yes.
So when you said it earlier, thrill, and I'm going to the eye, that aspect of integrity that is a part of growing up and having responsibility and accountability, that will leave you with one option. I love what you said there, and this is why context matters, because you get the opportunity to learn. If somebody just being born in the last 18 years would not have known your contribution to this wonderful country, and we oftentimes forget, and when we forget, respect is thrown out and we don't pay homage to people while they are alive. And I'm giving you your flowers because I spoke to you in St. Thomas, and it was so impactful because it came with a lot of empathy, a lot of compassion, and you noticed me.
Yes.
That is so important, because there are many persons in Jamaica, the least among us, who go unnoticed, and it's only when it's time come to dip ink that people is gonna behave like, just come dip the ink so I can forget about you. But that is not the Joan whom I met. And when I saw your daughter in our compound, who is a little mini you, you're also a phenomenal. Not only you are a phenomenal woman, you're a phenomenal mother. That is important. I'm giving you your flowers on this platform, because you have reminded even myself why I'm to press on and not give up, and to ensure that children in rural communities, rural constituencies, and just children across Jamaica be given the opportunities that we have been given to become the best versions of ourselves.
Absolutely.
When I hear you speak, the eloquence, the patience in your tone, the friendliness, it's an art in a space where the aggression and the anger and the violence, the remnants of slavery shines through. I appreciate you, Joan Gordon Webley. I appreciate you.
Thank you. And I appreciate you too, because the job of being a member of parliament is an awesome responsibility.
Yes.
Awesome responsibility. And for those who have lived in Jamaica and seen what is happening, and especially amongst the youths, I'm happy to know that you have decided to come into politics. I've often said, to a number of the young people, you cannot stand on the outside and say you can't bother.
Father.
You have to bother. This is your place. As good as Bolt is, if he makes a mistake overseas, they're shipping him home.
Mm-hmm.
This is your place. You have to bother, because it is not just about you. It is about the children you're about to father or mother.
Mm-hmm.
They want to have a place that they can be proud of and know that that is their home. Their house is not their home.
Mm-hmm.
Jamaica is their home. Nobody can throw them out of it. And I'm just asking the young people, come on in. Come on into the People's National Party. Make sure you go out there as canvassers. Make sure you go out there to talk to the other young people. Let us each one help one. Let us learn by, we have to learn by our mistakes, but let us also look towards the future. And we have to make Jamaica the place that we want to live in and our kids needs to live in. I'm happy to serve, very happy to serve, and I will not stop serving. I don't know what it is to retire. I don't know what it is to retire. I am going to continue to work until the day my God takes me home.
And I pray that God will continue to bless and keep you to make the contributions that is necessary to bring Jamaica to a place where I know we can get to when we remove corruption, when we remove dishonesty, and when we become people centered as we were before, and even when you didn't want. Joan, if you believe that I am a picnic that don't like education, but I grew up at a time when education was a mandatory thing, and
Yes.
and you had to. If you were going to a prep school, a primary school like St. Richard's was doing better than you. If you drop the book, not drop the ball, but if you drop the book, you would be left behind.
Yes.
And so the peer pressure that we are to be feeling is to be educated. And the opportunities that come from education is the result of a, a wonderful conversation like this. The people, only the comment section can let you know how relaxed and happy I am and enjoying conversations with Joan Gordon Webley. That's what this should have been, because the reality is the political response is always reactive, and we have to move to a place where we are proactive. We have to be prospective in our thinking so that when things happen, we already were prepared for it.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And so this blame game, my disappointment with the prime minister is that he never takes blame for anything.
Oh no, he does not.
And they create narratives and use ad hominem. They attack people and use PR and the media machinery to create narratives that surely aren't true. And it does not help the people. And I just know that, as you said earlier, and I listen to every word you say, when you love people, and you
Mhm.
become selfless, that is actually the formula for rehabilitation. And
Absolutely.
Jamaica needs rehabilitation. And if we are to help her, um, we need people like you. And so I could talk and tell you thank you and give you your flowers while you're alive. But I know your daughter going to get jealous because she think that she must share our mother. But she's going to get used to it very soon, because I know, and I'm speaking it into existence, you're bringing home the gold. Because you see, you cannot fake genuineness, you cannot fake capacity, you cannot fake change, and what you are bringing to the people. And I watched every single video that comes out, so I know what I said. What would Joan Gordon Webley do? And then I just go down in Portland Eastern and do it. And suddenly, education is a mandate for me.
Oh, thank
Um,
you.
yes, I did. I have identified that the technological divide in Portland, and it's the far end. It's a point away from everything, and the kids need to be brought into the technological race. And so
Yeah.
I'm providing tablets. It's for every child. I don't have to interface with the parents. The parents don't have to tell me they're JLP or PNP, because children are Jamaicans.
That's
And
right.
I have taken that on as a project to ensure that these children have the opportunities that I had, and the difference that technology had for me in the learning process. School, from blackboard and chalk and blackboard and whiteboard and marker, to where it is today, is so different. And there's
Yes.
no excuse for being behind with education, because there are persons much brighter than us, younger than us, brighter than us, with the answers for their environment and their spaces, and we need to ensure that we grow them up to want that. And so I honestly am saying that not because you're here, but there are a number of you, and when they come on this program, I'll give them their flowers. I won't call their names in their absence, but the PNP has very, very, very strong candidates that will make
Oh,
an
yes.
impact. It will be a
Right.
historical government and governance under the leadership of Mark Golding, the Honorable Mark Golding, the opposition leader, and a party leader that listens and includes everybody. Even Isaac Buchanan, a controversial attorney, uh, the rehabilitation baby. But yeah, I'm raising that because that is what Jamaica needs, a second chance.
Every time, every time. I really want to thank you for having me and to say, um, the amount of work that I have continued to do in the constituency has not just been me, because I have persons around me who always lend a helping hand. And
Hmm.
I just want to big up my two daughters too, because whilst my firstborn
Hmm.
lives in Miami, she has been instrumental in a number of the things I have done. She continues to supply me with things like football and jerseys and all sorts of things, books and all sorts of things for the youths in the constituency. And I just want to, publicly say thanks to her. And my second daughter, wash belly, they call her.
I'm not hearing her laugh. I know she right there somewhere, and I can sense her presence. People, peep in, man, peep in.
Keep in bed,
Let
come
the
on.
people see.
She, as I said, when she heard that I had decided, She says, Mom, you must not be allowed to lose. And she
Look how
has.
them look like twins, people.
Greetings,
God
sir.
makes you truly matters. You see that?
She left her home, her husband, and find herself to Jamaica and says she's not leaving until I'm through the gate.
Mission accomplished, and that is teamwork made the dream work, and a family that stays together and prays together
I'm
achieves
telling
the
you,
greatest things together.
And one thing I don't ever speak, I don't ever not mention the grace of God, because I know it is the grace of God that has brought me through thus far. You know? And I want to just thank the team that is working with me.
Yes.
It is a tough constituency. They have stood the course, and I want to invite anyone in the constituency who feels that they want to contribute. Just call me. Everyone has a place, and we can fit you in any area.
Any capacity, yes.
Any capacity. I'm looking for people who are going to work because, and I'm not just talking politicians. The fact is that it is going to take all of us.
Teachers, police officers, nurses, farmers, doctors, lawyers, carpenters, masons.
That's right.
Everybody. You matter. Yes.
And I want to continually thank them for the well wishes that they send to me from time to time. Because it is these things that bolster you. It makes your, lift your hands and say, yes, I'm going down the right path. And also I want to say to them, if you do see me going down the wrong path, never be shy to say to me, I'm going to listen to you. I'm going to listen to you.
All right. There you have it. It was the greatest experience having conversations with you. I did, and I know the audience did get a sense of the difference being in a rural constituency, the landmass, the terrain, the what people have to traverse, the breaking away of a road that disconnects a community, the great divider. Yeah, the idea that somebody could think that a pile of marl could fix, that's putting a band-aid on an open wound. And so, we know what needs to be done. Jamaica needs a lot of fixing, and all sectors, education, agriculture, tourism, health, it has to be so connected and brought to these communities and most importantly, economic viability.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We have community center that I saw the whisk so tight around it. There is I have not come upon one training center throughout West Rural for the youth. I'm asking myself, what's happening here? We have a candidate who is supposed to be an athlete. Nothing. Come on. I believe that when the youngsters play together, they become friends. There'll be less animosities.
They won't be quick to.
Why are we not looking at how we can, coalesce around them, get them into some form of training, finding out what it is they want? I'm not saying you're going to be 100%, but I'm saying you must try. And right now we have somebody who's not even trying. Everybody's just left on their way. You were voted in for a reason, to lead. You must lead. And if you don't understand that leadership means all of that, then you're in the wrong place. You are in the wrong place.
And I'm going to leave it right there and tell you thank you so much for joining. And we look forward to looking at you. Just tell us your social media real quick and how they can find you.
At Joan Gordon Webley. .com. At Joan Gordon. This is a good.
Yeah, just tell us.
Webley on Instagram or Facebook.
Yes.
Or you can head to our website, www.joangordonwebley.com, for the complete coverage of her vision and values for Western Real Estate Andrew.
There you go. There you have it. See, looking forward to speaking with you as the Member of Parliament for West Rural St. Andrew. I'm never wrong on these things. Okay?
Thank you so
congrats
much.
in advance.
God's willing.
All right. Blessings.
Thank you so much. Have a great
day.
And thank your viewers, your listeners. Thank you for having me.
All right. That was Context Matters for January 23rd, 2025. This has been the fastest January in the history of the existence of the world. Take care. Signing off of Reggae Global, and I'm going to see you guys next week. For those of you who are on TikTok and those of you who are YouTube, thank you so much for participating. I'm seeing that you guys are now liking, subscribing, sharing, and even giving likes. So I know that I'm doing something right, and I feel good about that. So blessings. So what Missy Bram said, it soon will be Christmas Day. Missy, don't push it, Missy. Yeah. Movie like Missy Elliott. I can't stand Christmas on my window. So see you guys next week. Yes.
It took some time to understand. Yeah. Just what it takes to be a man. Now it seems each day you learn something to make a better way. Growing up ain't just a phase, it's reality. And sometimes it's hard to face the world with your head screwed on. But in time you will see, it comes naturally, like the hurt and the pain. It's a part of the game. It's all a part of life, to laugh and to cry. That's right, it's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep it stride. No time for living a lie. Gotta keep it moving till you get it right. That's right, it's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep it stride. No time to be living a lie. You can make it if you try. You know I heard them say, life much better you live it your own way. But if you need a helping hand, just call on me, I will be your friend. And when it gets hard to face the world with your head screwed on, just tell yourself you can. And that's when you'll understand that the hurt and the pain, it's a part of the game. It's all a part of life, to laugh and to cry. That's right, it's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep your stride. No time for living a lie. Gotta keep it moving till you get it right. That's right, it's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep your stride. No time to be living a lie. You can make it if you try. You gotta keep on moving on. Don't let no one stand in your way. Gotta keep on pressing on. As we pray for better days, keep it moving. Moving to the next. When they try to bring you down, we gotta take it to the next level when they come around. That's right, it's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep your stride. No time for living a lie. Gotta keep it moving till you get it right. That's right, it's all in life. Gotta keep your head up and keep your stride. No time to be living a lie. You can make it if you try. Just keep your head up, yeah. Just keep your head up, yeah. Gotta keep your head up, yeah. Cause everything's gonna be alright. Keep your head up. Keep your head up. Keep your head up. Cause everything's gonna be alright. Cause everything's gonna be alright.